Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Gentle Healing Podcast with me, your host, Beth. On today's episode, I wanted to talk about a topic that I have been pondering and thinking about a lot lately. And this is something that I am always trying to deepen into when considering life and creating the life I desire and manifesting, etc. But this is the topic, and always just a little disclaimer before I talk about this and anything. I always want you to take what resonates and leave the rest, because it is doing a disservice to give blanket advice. And I personally I'm not a fan at all of people who really try to give kind of like blanket or step-by-step advice, because truly we are all unique, and what is right or what works for one person may not at all be right for another. So, of course, I try to speak always from a very neutral place and not give any, strategic advice. But I am always coming from my own experience and my own biases. And so I always want you to just take what resonates for you on your path, on your journey. And if something doesn't feel good, please leave it aside. Maybe later it might feel good, or maybe it's just not meant for you, and that is okay. So with that, what I really wanted to talk about is this idea of leaving room for the universe or your higher self or whatever, God, whatever you resonate with, to surprise you, to fill in the gaps when you are creating what you desire to have. And where this comes from is often, we really can be attached to an outcome or a certain thing. Maybe it's a house, maybe it's a person, it's a job, a business, whatever it may be. And we think that it's going to make us happy or make us feel a certain way, because at the end of the day, no matter what we want, no matter what we desire, it's always because what we feel, it's what we want, we think it's going to make us feel. We don't actually desire the thing. We desire the way that thing is going to make us feel. And so often we have in our head, we think we want this certain person or this certain house, and I've been thinking a lot about houses lately, so this is kind of where the theme is in my life at the moment. But we think we want certain things, but often the universe knows better than us. Like, we're so attached to whatever it may be in the physical, but the universe actually knows better. We can come back to some very simple examples here. Have you ever just felt like you were just craving something so badly, and you finally got it, and you realize, this actually wasn't, it actually isn't that great. Maybe that's food, or it's a person, or, I don't know, a piece of clothing, whatever it may be, right? Or, sometimes we really desire something, right? Like we're manifesting something and we want it to be exactly a certain way, and then either we get it or we don't. And either way, like maybe we get it and we're almost a little bit disappointed. We're like, oh, okay, this didn't quite bring me the satisfaction I was hoping for. Or on the contrary, you may get not quite what you asked for, but you're like, oh, well, actually, this is even better. Like, actually, I didn't realize that having it this way, or having this instead of that, or it looking like this slightly differently, will was actually so much better than what I actually asked for. And so this is very specific, for me, in the case that in human design, I am what is called non-specific. So there are two types, and I won't go too much into it, but there are kind of two types, and they're based on, if you look at your body graph, there's arrows up the top, and I can't remember which one it is exactly, but one of the arrows points left and right, and depending on which way it points, you're either non-specific or specific. But, so because I'm non-specific, I very much manifest in a way that is, like it says, explanatory, non-specific. I'm meant to focus on the feelings, how I want things to feel, as opposed to the specifics. Whereas someone who is more specific manifesting, maybe they are like it feels good to them to focus more on the specifics. But either way, we need to let go a little bit and leave room for magic. Because, as much as we want to hold on to these things with our minds, we only have a really small slither of the picture. And there is so much that we cannot fathom and we cannot see. And when we let go, we allow the universe to come in and do its magic and put together those pieces that we cannot see, that we cannot feel, that we cannot even understand. That magic, those coincidences, there's serendipity. And it comes in and it delivers us the thing that is exactly, like the universe knows how we want to feel, and it's going to deliver that thing that is actually going to make us feel that way. Whether it's a house or a person, a job. Maybe you're trying to manifest what you think is your dream job, yet, you're hell-bent on one specific position. But maybe if you let go a little bit, there's a position that you don't even know exists, or that maybe doesn't exist. It's a new position. And you allow the universe to do its magic when you loosen your grip. And something 1,000,000 times better than what we imagine can be created when we make that space in our lives, in our energy field, by letting go. And I guess a bit of this comes back to that concept of surrender. Whether you are a specific manifestor or a non-specific, it doesn't matter, because there's always an aspect of non-attachment and letting go. And the faster you can let go of whatever it is you're desiring, the more space you make for the universe to go around and do its magic and bring you those things that are truly going to allow you to feel that deep satisfaction from whatever you've manifested. That joy, all those good juicy things that we want to feel, right? And at the end of the day, that's why we want anything. Because we believe it's going to bring us satisfaction, fulfillment, purpose, joy, love, happiness. Whatever it is, whatever those good feelings that we want to feel are. And of course, we can feel those now. We don't actually need things or, people or places, environments, jobs, money to feel any of those things. But that's a different topic, and that's slightly beside the point. The purpose is really to just allow the universe to bring its magic. So often we are just holding on so tight. And again, the reason why I talk about this is because, and I'm very much trying actively to practice this at the moment. I'd like to move house, and I am manifesting, what I believe I desire is sort of something I know how I kind of want it to feel, a certain amount of land, a feeling of spaciousness and peace and tranquility. I would like, it's, like I could go into this and be like, no, the house has to have X, Y, Z, or it has to be this new, or it has to have this many bathrooms, or this, and, it has to be, I don't know, 1 acre, or it has to be, like, at least, I could go into it and have all these tight gripped expectations. It has to be in this area, it has to do this, it has to be here, it has to have this. And of course there are things that I desire, but I am open to possibilities. If someone shows me a house and it's not exactly what I want or like what I'm desiring, I will look at it anyway, and maybe I might go to the open inspection. And I will go there and I'll feel into it, and maybe it might be slightly out of my price range or whatever, maybe I feel, and I do often, that, what I desire is very impossible in my price range. Yet, I always come back to that feeling of it doesn't matter, the universe will, I know how I desire to feel, and I am in no rush. Like, that's a good thing for me. I have literally no rush. There is no rush for me. That's also one thing that really allows you, when you have no rush, when you let go of expectations on timelines and how, etc., you also allow the universe to come in and bring its magic. So, that's really all I had to say today. This is just another short episode, really. I really just wanted to give you this opportunity to ponder as well. Where are you still gripping on quite tight? Because often that is something that blocks us in all areas of life. And often, as I've mentioned before, sometimes we've got this idea of what we desire so badly, and then we can manifest it, we can create it, but then we actually get it and we realize, oh, this isn't all that, this isn't actually quite what I was hoping for. This is actually not it, and if you had let go a little bit, and of course there are learning lessons in that alone, but when you let go and when you're a bit more open, you could have allowed the universe to actually bring you the thing that was actually going to bring you that satisfaction, that joy, that fulfillment that you truly desired. So ponder that, and that's all for today. I will catch you in the next episode. I may be bringing more very short form episodes like this. I'm just kind of playing it by ear. I may have some more longer ones. Right now, this is just what wants to come out of me. It's just these very short little tidbits. And yes, I hope this gave you something to think about. And I will speak to you in the next episode. Bye bye.